His MVP. That's one. Right field. Forget about it. Rangers strike first. Goes after the first one. Drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb in the first. Drive. It's tied. Seager smashes the ball down the line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field, way back there. Gone again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Texas Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you in a dicey bottom of the eighth. Josh Jung just got eaten alive by a ground ball, man. The Rangers have had a couple of ground balls today that you would just love to have back. Seager kind of olayed one earlier in the game, and clear error from Josh Jung. Just the last thing you expect. I mean, look, in this game tonight, Leody Taveras giveth, Leody taketh away. The RBI triple followed up by the error to start out this bottom of the eighth. Josh Jung with the RBI triple to tie the game. Error now. And it looks like we're going to have a base knock into right field. And the Cubs are going to take a lead here. They are rounding, and they're going to score 2 on this play. I really got to see the replay on how the Rangers didn't hold the runner at third on this one. I think this is a little bit of a late inning melt, man. You had Leody and Josh Jung both with errors. Late inning melt, no doubt, man. This is tough to watch for Chris Martin, especially, who's really pitched well enough. Doley was throwing to third base there. I really don't understand that decision-making at all. Why is Doley throwing to third? You have one of the best arms in the game. You had a chance to get the runner out at the plate. I just do not even get that. Just sloppy defense. Sloppy defense all the way around. I mean, bottom of the eighth, you just tied the freaking game. And you come out, and the very first batter, you're committing an error. Leody Taveras, error out in center field. Then Josh Jung tying the game on the RBI triple. A ground ball that easily he could get, and he could have probably slung it over for a double play. That would have ended the inning. Really, really tough here. Look, I don't know if you can really blame the pitching. I don't really know if you can blame the hitting tonight. The hitting has actually been okay tonight. The defense, though, just incredibly suspect on the evening. That Corey Seager ground ball earlier in the game that ate him up, led to a run. You've got Leody Taveras committing an error, Josh Jung committing an error in this one. Chris Martin, hopefully he can get out of this one with the nice double play ball, and we can at least have a shot in the top of the ninth. Just a terrible bottom of the eighth. You're playing against a team this good. Chicago, I do believe, has a really quality squad. You can't give this team extra outs. It's going to take something miraculous for the Rangers to win their fourth potential series in a row. Tomorrow, by the way, maybe an inclement weather game. It's supposed to be raining pretty much all day. I wonder if tomorrow's even going to get played. Rangers do have a getaway day, I believe, on Thursday before playing Seattle, but nevertheless. Chris Martin, by the way, in a, I believe, 1-2 count. It's definitely going to be an interesting finish to this eighth. I wonder if the Rangers are going to be able to escape without a whole lot more damage. Chris Martin should be out of the inning. I mean, dude should be out of the inning at this point. Really, really unfortunate turn of events out in defense for the Rangers after a huge momentum shift tying this ball game after being down 6-3. Let me get to comments here. Did Langford get hurt? Apparently, but I don't know if there's a report out yet on Wyatt Langford. Wyatt got subbed out for Kevin Pillar after his at-bat in the 7th inning, I believe. So we'll see what the update is on Wyatt Langford. Not good. I mean, you got to be kidding me if Wyatt is hurt. I mean, I feel like we just got Josh Jung back. Now we're going to go ahead and have Wyatt out now too. Hopefully it's just precautionary, and we'll see him back maybe for the Seattle series, I'd imagine. Unless it was just something crazy small that they were really just being overly cautious about. I doubt you'll see Wyatt tomorrow in the getaway game if they even end up playing it. Let me keep going. Austin, what's up, man? The game is good, but bad. Good, the offense gets started, but bad defense. Well said. Like I said, it's hard. You really can't blame the pitching. The pitching wasn't great as Chris Martin gets the strikeout for the second out of the inning. But of course, Jonah Heim not able to throw out. Oh, maybe. I don't know if Jung got the tag down, but they literally just stole double steal, second and third on us on that strikeout. Looks like the hand is just in there. I mean, I really don't know at this point what to say about the Rangers and the catching game, trying to throw out base runners. We're literally going to talk about it every time I get on and do a live. I don't know if they are going to have above a 10% rate throwing out runners this year. I mean, right now it is 0% throwing out runners this year. I mean, Chris Martin, thank goodness he was able to get one caught stealing. This is a really tight play. Rangers are asking for a review. I mean, it's honestly a pretty decent throw by Heim. I mean, it's right there from Heim. I don't know if they're going to have enough to overturn. I would actually be pretty surprised if they do, but maybe we'll get a little break here. That would end the inning if this does get overturned and the call is out. A little strike him out, throw him out, but that's how little the Rangers are respected right now with the catching game. I mean, they're doing a double steal potentially to make the third out of the inning. In an inning where, honestly, you're trying to tack on. I mean, a 2-run lead is nice, but you're trying to tack on here. You got first and second, one out. A little surprised they pulled the trigger on that double steal, but why not? When you're just getting it like candy from a baby every single time. They are calling him safe. Bruce Bochy coming out. Looks like he will be bringing on Hobie Milner, my boy. Hopefully Hobie can get us out of this one. I mean, at least give a shot for the top of the order here. Looks like Rangers are going to have, who's coming up? Leote? No, boy. Marcus and Seager. At least Seager will get a chance. I know Siegs hasn't been the best to start the year, but at least we have a chance with Seager if Hobie's able to get out of this. Seager, if Leote and Simeon were to get on, could represent the go-ahead run. Yeah, Seager's Olay, John, thank you for mentioning it. It was terrible. I mean, look, at the very least, Siegs could have got in front of that baseball and knocked it down. That Olay from Seager earlier in the game that ultimately led to a run, right? I mean, it was almost immediately that play from Siegs led to a run. I think we all can agree, Corey Seager, not terrible at shortstop. Definitely not terrible, but I think there are some shortstops out there within the Rangers organization, Josh Smith, that are probably a little bit more agile, a little more fleet of foot at this point. Now, what do you do with that? I don't know. I don't think Seager is bad enough where you can get him totally out of the field. But I've just noticed a few plays this year where it's like Josh Smith makes that play. Jonathan Ornelas makes that play. I really actually love Jonathan Ornelas' glove. The bat isn't there for Ornelas, but dude's got a nice glove and a nice arm. I think there are multiple shortstops within the organization that could be making some of the plays that Seager isn't. You can't really do a whole lot with that right now unless you really want to move Seager to DH. And I know that we're being reactionary right now. We're being reactive, but I think if you're really being honest, there's a few plays that Seager hasn't made that a better shortstop within the organization makes, especially when it's leading to runs. like the one from Seager today did. I actually didn't catch the error from Leote to start this inning. I'm really interested to see it. I don't know if any of y'all can give me your 2 cents on it. I really would love to see it. I was trying to get my live set up and I had game day up, but I did not see the actual error. If any of y'all want to give me the update, what was that error from Leote? What was the error? Right? Give me the update if you can. I'd appreciate it. Looks like we are going to have a base knock here that's going to drive in 2 more, but they're going to get the tag 10-6. Unfortunately, Milner comes in on a 2-0 count, gives up a base knock. Not going to get charged to him, but you've got a 10-6 ball game. Not looking good. But you know what? We go to the top of the 9th inning. We got Leote, Semien, Seager coming up. If anybody gets on, Kevin Pillar, and then Jock Peterson. Not feeling awesome, y'all. Not feeling awesome. Look, we got to get on, win or loss sometimes, and talk these out. I like the way the offense responded today. I really do. And look, Josh Jung, a big part of that. Can we focus on the positives a little bit here? Like Josh Jung, 3 for 4 tonight. I did not think that he was going to make this big of an impact coming back. Josh Jung hitting 545 right now on the season. Granted, he's only played 3 games. But I like seeing the 545 and the 1363 OPS because the rest of this Rangers lineup is not looking as good right now. You got Jonah Heim, 280. You got Josh Smith, 308. You got Jock Peterson hitting under 100. And you've got Marcus Semien hitting 114. Can we have a debate about something, though? And I get that advanced stats are becoming a bigger and bigger thing in baseball. And I know that some of the once heralded, once lauded stats are becoming a little bit less popular. But help me out here. I was getting scolded on TikTok earlier for the short that I put out last night because I was referencing batting averages. The point was batting average is so old and archaic. Like, why are you using batting average to determine a player's performance? Look, we can nerd out as much as y'all want, but at the end of the day, if your batting average is under 100, I don't think we need to do a deep dive into your analytics. You're not hitting well. Unless you are hitting grand slams and drawing walks 2 times a game, which Jock Peterson is not. Batting average, I think, can still give us an indication on how a player's season is going. Like, I get there's obviously other metrics that are out there, but let's be real. A guy's hitting 114. I think we all have a clue about how the season's going. Marcus 0 for 4 did have an RBI tonight on a fielder's choice. And look, I will get on players all the time for not putting the ball in play and playing small ball. I got to give it to Marcus. He at least is able to play small ball there. Leote hard hit ground ball here, by the way, right in between. First baseman for the Cubs made a good stab at it, bounced off his glove, got right in between the first baseman and the second baseman. Look, I don't know all these Cubbies' names. I'm not going to pretend. Langford right side tightness is what they're saying, by the way. I just got the notification on my phone. Right side tightness is what they're calling it for Wyatt Langford. So Leote Taveras on first base, Marcus Semien up, Presley, Ryan Presley, old Astros foe in the game right now. Not a save situation, but a familiar foe here. Marcus Semien going to try and get his first hit of the night. Sure would be nice to make this interesting. Let's have some fun here. Come on now. Simi, 1-0 count. Great hack at it. Fouled it straight back, but it's going to be 1-1. Yeah, another oblique, possibly. I don't know. He has such a hard swing. Like, the bat speed is incredible for Wyatt Langford. And with that hard bat speed, with that quick bat, you do sometimes become susceptible to these side issues, to these oblique issues, right? There's a lot of torque, a lot of movement when you're swinging the bat in that core area. Some guys, it's just a nagging issue. I really, really hope that we are able to get Wyatt back quickly. Dansby Swanson, sorry, I was distracted as I was getting my point out. Dansby Swanson just made a great play on a really hard hit ground ball in the hole from Marcus. That had base hit written all over it. Dansby made a great slide over to his right, is able to get Leote out at second for the force. Great play from Dansby there. That's beautiful. Not much to say there. Great defensive play. Corey Seager will come up. Simi's on first with one out. Appreciate all y'all that are hanging out. We're going through the live play-by-play here to finish out the ninth, and then we're going to get more into reaction, take all y'all's comments and questions. Corey Seager up 1-0 count right now. Ryan Presley on to close this one out for the Cubs. Come on, Seags, give it a ride. Let's make this interesting here. 1-1, Corey Seager fouls it off. Man, pitch right down the pipe. Again, we've been talking about Corey. Good to see him get a base knock tonight. It was a pretty nice hit. Average is up to 171. But that's a hanging off-speed pitch right there that Corey fouls off. And you know when he's locked in, he is just hammering that off-speed pitch over the middle of the plate and just not there quite yet. Fastball right down the pipe. And Marcus Semien, he was gunned out, but he might have avoided the tag. Like Marcus was not even close to stealing that base, but he may have snuck around it. It looks like Chicago's going to review it. That was not even close. I really don't know what that was. Was that a strike him? Was that, a hit and run? I was going to say strike him out, throw him out. Was that a hit and run? I think Marcus is out. I don't even know what we're doing there, man. Give Seager a chance with a runner on base. Marcus wasn't even close to stealing that. I mean, we're lucky that the tag and the throw was not better. Dude was gunned. Man, I just don't get that, man. I don't understand the mentality there. You're trying to stay out of the double play, I guess. But let Seager hit at that point, man. Let him hit. Langford in center might be better. That's my plea. Can we just get Langford in center, and can we move Josh Smith to left field? I'm done with the Leote experiment. Let's move Josh Smith to left, move Wyatt to center. Leote can be a bench player. For as many good moments as you'll have with Leote, it'll get negated by what we saw in the top or the bottom of the 8th inning. Like, for every good play, there's a bad one. Like, honestly, I forget which inning it was. I'd have to go back and look. I'll try and scroll back for the plays. It was on the sac fly by the Cubs earlier in the game. Was that in the 6th inning? I'm trying to look here and see what was going on. Let me scroll back just a little bit. Y'all, appreciate your patience. Still reviewing this one. I think Marcus is going to be out, but we'll see. We might end up getting a fortunate call here. So Dansby Swanson comes up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Fly ball deep to center field. Leote had no chance of throwing out Kyle Tucker at third base. Zero chance at throwing out Kyle Tucker at third. But he throws to third, and it allows Justin Turner, savvy veteran that he is, to go to second base. So then there's runners at second and third. And at that point, I believe there was one out. And by the way, they just overturned the Marcus Semien safe call. Marcus is out. 2 outs. Corey Seager in a 1-2 count. So the Rangers 1 strike away here. I know you're trying to stay out of the double play ball there, but you got to be closer than that, Marcus. You got to be a little bit closer than what we were there. John, okay, Leote took a terrible route to the ball in the outfield to start this mess in the 8th after we had just tied it at 6. They gave him an error, didn't they? So did it bounce off his glove or something? Corey Seager, by the way, with a nice little oppo slap hit. So he's going to extend this game. So we'll see Kevin Pillar in for Wyatt Langford, who exited the game with right side tightness. Most likely an oblique issue, unfortunately. Kevin Pillar, our final hope. Let's make it interesting. Pillar hacking 0-1, fouls it off right down the middle from Presley, 94-mile-an-hour heat. We keep going. Let me get to TikTok here. Yeah, Cassie, same thing. I mean, look, Leote has his moments of brilliance. He's had a couple of hits tonight, the RBI triple. Nice going the other way. I mean, obviously he's a little behind on the fastball there, but you take the fastball oppo down the line, you get the RBI triple. It's huge. It's huge. It was a big hit, but then you follow it up with an error, a senseless error in the bottom of the 8th inning. I think you've got to let the experiment, and I'm calling it an experiment because it's just never worked out and they keep trying it over and over again. I'm ready for the Leote starter experiment to be over. Put Josh Smith in left field. Look, Josh Smith at first base, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the way. It's not the way. And I think you maybe just gave Berger kind of a mental day today. Jake Berger not doing great. By the way, Kevin Pillar grounds out to second base, and this one's over. Rangers lose 10-6. Back-to-back losses. This will be the first series loss for the Rangers, who will look to salvage a game tomorrow against the Cubs. Leote, though, going back to him, you had multiple plays out in the field today. The 5th inning sac fly where you're throwing to the wrong base, throwing to third base. The bottom of the 8th inning, bad route to the ball, committing an error that allows the first runner to reach base when you're looking for a shutdown inning. You've just tied the game on Josh Jung's RBI triple. Josh Jung having an incredible day today, 3 for 4, first game back from the IL. The way is not to have Josh Smith play first base for Jake Berger. The way is Josh Smith in left field, and you move Wyatt to center field. Unfortunately, now you're not going to have Wyatt in center field because there's some right side tightness. And you're not going to want him running all over the place out in the outfield. So I fear we're stuck with Leote for a little while, unfortunately. I am very much ready to move on. I know there are some Leote apologists out there that I'm probably going to make upset. And I know there's some Rangers fans out there that never want to be negative about any player on the team ever. God forbid you say that the offense is struggling 10 games in. You're not allowed to have an opinion until they played 50 games, apparently. I don't know what it's going to take for people to realize Leote's not the answer out there. You want to think it over and over again. You see the tools are there, the speed. You see the pop from Leote occasionally, but it's just not consistent. So I'm ready for Josh Smith left field, Wyatt in center when everybody's fully healthy. Look, I wish Evan Carter was going well right now. I don't think Leote would even be seeing the playing time, the playing field at all if Evan Carter was back to 2023 form. I think the play would have been play EC every day, and it's going to have to take a terrible month of April for Leote to get ABs. Instead, Evan Carter scuffles in spring training, and here we are. I don't know what the Rangers are going to be doing moving forward if Wyatt Langford is going to have to miss time. I think Josh Smith in left field is an obvious choice, so I'm sure that that's what they'll end up doing. Ezekiel Duran, by the way, optioned today. I tweeted that out earlier, but Ezekiel Duran with Josh Jung coming back from the IL option. So, I mean, look, you could put Kevin Pillar out there, but look, you don't want Kevin Pillar's bat over Wyatt Langford's, even if Kevin can give you a little bit better defense. I would much rather have Josh out there in left. You live with maybe some of the mistakes that Josh may make, making reads on fly balls. Shoot, it can't be worse than what Leote's doing at times. Reading fly balls out there, routes, and accurate routes, I might add to the baseball. I definitely feel like easy move, Josh Smith to left if Wyatt has to miss any significant amount of time. We keep going. Austin, is that right? Still have the best record in the AL? Rangers fans, we still the best in the AL? Look, we got to take some solace in that, but I think we all see how this could potentially unravel quickly. And look, I don't feel great about tomorrow. I wish I felt a little better, but with Shota pitching for the Cubs, Shota Imanaga pitching for the Cubs right now, 0.98 ERA. I don't feel great. Rangers versus lefty starters. I've never had a ton of confidence over the past 2 years. Rangers going up against a lefty starter. I looked at the splits, lefty-righty for the Rangers. versus lefties versus righties. Not so bad. Maybe it's just the starting pitching. And then when we get to the bullpen lefties, we're a little bit better. But I just feel like consistently we cannot get things going against lefty starters. Maybe I'm just dreaming that up, but I can't say I feel a lot of confidence the Rangers are going to salvage one tomorrow with Shota up on the mound for the Cubs. Maybe we get spared and we get a rain out tomorrow. That's kind of how I feel right now, y'all. I'm trying to get out of Chicago, have a little day off to clear the mind, and then come back for the weekend series. The offense, look, they played better tonight. But look, we go up and down the box score. Great to see multi-hit from Seager tonight, even though some of the hits, not necessarily the biggest or most clutch in this game. But Siegs goes 2 for 5. I think Marcus has got to be the guy you're worried about the most. Dude's hitting 111 on the year. 0 for 5 again tonight. How many times are you going to trot Marcus Semien out to the leadoff spot before you try something different? The Rangers, I think, waited way too long on Marcus last year. They finally tried something different, and it didn't really make a difference. So Bochy just went back to Marcus hitting leadoff again. But I think Marcus's leadoff days are behind him. I really don't think Marcus is your prototypical leadoff hitter anyways. I think we love the pop from Marcus. We love the way that he can drive the ball, especially pulling it. But Marcus is not a guy in particular that takes a lot of walks. He's not a guy that lengthens out at bats. He's aggressive. He's looking for his pitch, and when he gets it, he's hacking. I'd like to see a little bit more patience out of the leadoff spot. It's not really even a knock against Marcus. I just don't think he's your prototypical leadoff hitter. I think with like the George Springers of the MLB, like Springer, when he was with the Astros, you had him leading off a lot. He had a lot of pop. He had some speed, just like Marcus does. I don't know what Springer's walk rate was in his peak years, but as I look at Marcus and the limited amount of walks that he took last year and even this year, not walking a lot, not really even driving up pitch counts very much. I just think there are other guys that you could have in there that would do a better job. I'd like to see Josh Smith leading off. I think he would be a great leadoff hitter. Josh Smith 1 for 3 with a walk tonight. That's the stat line you want from your leadoff hitter. So can we move Josh Smith to left field, put Wyatt in center when he comes back healthy, and ride that out as long as you possibly can? I don't see a reason to go to really anything different. You don't have to play the game with Kevin Pillar and Leody Taveras. I actually like what I've seen from Kevin Pillar so far, but Kevin Pillar is not really an everyday starter in this league anymore. He had his moments last year against lefties, but he wasn't great against righties. I'm ready for them to just hand left field over to Josh Smith and put Wyatt in center field. Call it a day. I don't know why that's such a difficult decision at this point. Maybe eventually they'll go to it. Maybe even next game, depending on Wyatt's health. But Marcus Semien, I've got to think you can only do 0 for 5 and a 111 batting average, 345 OPS for so long. Can you give Marcus a month hitting 111? Dude might be dipping below 100 in a second here, like Jock Peterson. Let's talk a little bit about Jock Peterson. I see the comments, y'all. I'll definitely go comments and questions the rest of the show. Just a couple more leads. Jock Peterson, some of his at-bats tonight were not even competitive. I mean, you think about Jock Peterson's at-bat. Was it in the 8th inning? Jock strikes out on 3 pitches in the 8th inning, and I felt like there was another AB where it was like a 3-4 pitch strikeout, and it doesn't even look like major league at bats up there from Jock. So he's in some kind of way right now. He just does not look right. I don't know what it's going to take to get him right, but Jock just does not look right at the moment. And some of the at bats tonight, just whiffing and waving at anything. Going down in 3 pitches, hitting below 100, torpedo bat ain't helping. Like I said in the video I put out last night, if you can't get Jake Berger and Jock Peterson right, I really don't know how much different 2025 is going to be than 2024 offensively. Like, yes, I think you have a little bit of a better Wyatt Langford. I think a full season of Josh Jung does make a difference. But I don't know how much different it's going to be if you can't get contributions from Peterson or Berger and get a guy who regressed last year playing quite a bit better this year. And look, there are some guys from last year that struggled that are playing better this year. Jonah Heim, he's hitting 280 right now. He looks better than what he did last year. Granted, I know Higgy has been getting a little bit of the prime share of the catching duty so far. And look, Josh Smith, he's doing just about what he did last year, especially to start the season. You remember Josh Smith tapered off a little bit at the end. My theory on Josh Smith's decline at the end of 2024 had never played a complete season in the big leagues. Last year was the most games Josh Smith had ever played in Major League Baseball. So I do think Josh Smith is going to be able to keep up the hot start from last year a lot longer this year with his body having been through a full 162. Clearly, he didn't play all 162 games, but you know what I mean? You went through the grind of an entire season. Now your body's more ready for it. So I do think Josh Smith is going to have more sustained success rather than falling off as he did in August and September, dipping with the batting average. I mean, he was hitting around 300 most of the year. I think last year he ended up finishing like in the mid twos, wasn't he? Let's see what the average was for Jay Smith in 24, 258. Like, it doesn't feel like Josh Smith hit 258 last year because the start was so hot back in April and May of 2024. But then the end of the season, tired, fatigue of a long season, had never played that many games before. You saw him trail off a little bit. I don't think we'll see that as much from Josh Smith this year. Yeah, other than that, I don't really see a lot of other Rangers that I think you can really note as being markedly better in 2025, at least offensively speaking. And we're 12 games in. I know it's early. I know there's always going to be people that say that. Again, my 2 cents. How many games do we need to watch before anybody can have an opinion? If you're going to get on me for getting on the Rangers offense and how abysmal it's been through the first 12 games, granted tonight was better, how many games do you need to see the offense not play well in for an opinion to be had? It hasn't been great. And look, tonight, Josh Jung, I think, and Josh Smith included, saved the night. I mean, we probably don't end up tying it up there if we don't get Josh Smith with that nice little single to start things off in the top of the 8th, and then Josh Jung's triple. I mean, Josh Jung and Josh Smith, without them, this night is probably not even close. So I definitely feel like at this point, we've got to see consistency. We can't look at one game where they score 6 runs and say they're back. Let's see them do it again tomorrow and the next day. Right? I got to see 4 out of 6, 5 out of 7 games, this offense looking solid for me to say, yeah, there's no issue here. There's got to be more consistency. Let me keep going. Let me get to comments here. TikTok, what's good? Frustrating game for sure. Defense. Ugh. And look, I see this comment here. Appreciate it, Bud, by the way. Comment is, doesn't Marcus usually struggle in April? Yeah, but does he struggle this bad? Like, that's been the thing, right? That I've heard so many times. Like, Marcus always starts slow. Corey always starts slow. This slow? I mean, look, there's no disrespect, by the way, with the question. I totally think it's a valid question. Some guys, they don't start out. They end up needing a little bit of time to get settled into the season, and then you see them start hitting at the end of April and into May. But this bad, 111? I don't know about that. Look, I would go with that if it was like low 200s. We're at 111 batting average through 12 games right now. Just not great. Let me keep going here. What did Simeon hit in his first year in April with us? I remember it being really bad too. That I'm not going to be able to gather, but I do remember that in Chris Woodward's last year, right, as coach. By the way, I was curious, like, where the heck is Chris Woodward coaching back with the Dodgers now? Didn't know that. Like, you just saw that guy kind of disappear, went back with the Dodgers. Good for him. Good for him, right? He played for the Dodgers, going back to coach them. That's great. I'm glad that Woody found a nice landing spot. But anyways, back to the point, Simeon in his first year, yeah, I think he did start out slow too. How do we trade Garabito, Armstrong, and Jock? I don't think you trade Jock. And look, at this point, I don't know who's taking Jock right now in the contract. But look, Jock for me, he's probably needing a day at this point, maybe a couple. Like, you're hitting 094, buddy, and you're our DH. Like, that's what sucks. Last year, that was the problem too, right? The DH spot just could not get us numbers. We couldn't get enough production from the DH spot last year. So our professional hitter, your only job is hitting, you're hitting 094. Just not good. Not good. It's literally the 4th series of the year. What's your point? Again, how many series do you need to see before an opinion can be had? It's just a ridiculous argument to me, the people that sit around and say, it's been 4 series. It's only been 12 games. Are we going to say that after game 30? When the offense is still not clicking after 40 games? Then can we all say that the offense isn't playing well? When are we allowed to just be honest? All the people that are saying it's early, 4th series, whatever. Okay, nobody can have an opinion until they've played 100 games. Come on now. All right, we keep going. Mets fan Jake DeGrom is the best pitcher I've seen in my life. Look, not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. Jacob DeGrom is incredible. Love that guy. Brad, yep, agreed. Tavares, just not my favorite in center field. Overran the fly ball, Leote did. Yep. Start out the inning. Look, after the great RBI triple, Leote overrunning a fly ball. Yeah, Marcus ain't getting on. You're right. It does. Deer Hunter, if you're still hanging out, you do really appreciate the days of Pudge Rodriguez. Granted, look, today with the bigger bases, it is a small advantage, right? There's less space, technically speaking, in between the bases now. Like, it's not a ton, but what do they always say about baseball? Baseball is a game of inches. Like, so when you move the bases an inch closer or whatever it was, it doesn't surprise me that it's actually impacted the game in a pretty big way. So we will maybe take with a grain of salt the fact that Pudge was not throwing in these kinds of circumstances with the bigger bases and the step-off rules and all of that. But no, you absolutely appreciate Pudge in all that he did to control the stolen base game. 100%. Keep going. Couple of these bullpen guys aren't going to make it to June. Yeah, let's look at the bullpen. Tonight, I mean, you had Jacob Webb. Look, Webb has actually not done terrible, but yeah, I'm not in love with Jacob Webb and what he's bringing to the table right now. Mark Church, I actually thought Church had a really nice outing, and I thought it was actually good for him to go through that that bases loaded scenario. The slider fastball combo from Church, it was filthy at times tonight. You can see the potential. I don't think Church is ready for a big game spot right now. I actually really like this opportunity that they gave him, holding a 2 or 3 run lead at the time. I thought that was a great spot for Mark Church, and I thought he did well to get out of the jam. He did have 2 walks, not ideal. The control issues are what's going to plague Mark Church and stop him from having a more immediate role in this Rangers bullpen. But you can see what the Rangers see in Mark Church. The slider's filthy at times. The fastball's live. He throws it 99. You've just got to be able to locate in the big leagues. You can get away with that at the minor league level. You're not going to get away with missing location at the big league level. So I can see the potential in Mark Church. I thought it was good. He went through some adversity and came out on the other side of it today. But he's not ready for late inning, up by 1, up by 2. I think this was a perfect spot to get him in. Armstrong has a walk tonight. Didn't love all the walks from the bullpen guys. Church, Armstrong, and Martin coming in. All walking guys. Granted, Chris Martin, poor guy, man. The defense just was booting the ball all over the yard. Leote overrunning a fly ball. Josh Jung uncharacteristically making an error over at third. Yeah, not great. Not great. Let me go to comments down at the bottom here. Appreciate all y'all. Love Milner, by the way. Gary, appreciate the comments. I'm going to scroll up and get some more that you've thrown in here, man. Thank you so much. Look, I love Hobie Milner. I mean, I'm going to say that every show, y'all. So you're going to get sick of it. You're going to have to deal. Hobie Milner's my boy. He gave up a base knock today. Tough situation for Hobie to come in. Runners on second and third, and you're coming in cold. I mean, I don't love Hobie Milner in a stopper role per se, but I think you give him a clean inning with some lefties coming up, he's probably going to do all right for you. But tonight, obviously, in a one shot, you give up the hit, the 2-run score. You're able to get the runner gun down at second, between second and first. But I like what I'm seeing from Hobie. Chris Martin, I like what I'm seeing from him. The errors tonight, you can't blame him. 4 runs get charged to him, 0 earned. So I like a lot of the bullpen guys, but I'm a little uncertain how long Jacob Webb is going to be around. Mark Church, when Spores comes back, maybe Church hangs around, but I would think that maybe you're going to be replacing a guy like either Webb or Garabito. I think Garabito might actually hang around as I'm thinking about it live here, just because he can give you those 2-3 inning bunches when you need it. But somebody is going to be going down or getting DFA'd when you got Sporzy coming back in June or whenever he's due. Keep going. Appreciate it. Yeah, agreed here. Brad Bochy is a stubborn coach when it comes to making changes. And I think stubborn is the negative connotation. Patient might be the positive connotation, but Bochy really does love to watch things play out before he makes a change. I'm not always the biggest fan of it, but he definitely loves to let things play out. Not a knee-jerk reaction guy, and you do need that as a big league coach, not overreacting to every little thing. But I just wonder how much longer are the Rangers going to put up with some of the poor play that they're getting right now, whether it's the 4th series of the season or not. Look, I'm not on the page of Simeon getting the boot, but at least getting the boot out of the top spot. I know some Rangers fans are ready to see Marcus hit the road, but for me, I'm okay with them dropping down in the order. Does he have to hit leadoff, though? That's my thing. Does he have to hit leadoff? Let's have Marcus hit a little bit lower in the order. It's okay. I would much rather see something like that. I don't want to see him off the field. He's a great second baseman. I do think he can have success, but I don't know if it's the pressure getting to him. You're just in a crazy slump and you're pressing. But having him at the leadoff spot when the offense as a whole is not clicking just makes it even worse when you don't have a leadoff hitter that's getting anything going, sparking anything up at the top of the order. We keep going. Milner is our new 8th inning setup guy. Look, give him a clean inning, right? I think it is tough. There's special kinds of guys that I want to bring in when there's runners on base. Right? When you bring in a guy with runners on base, ideally, you want that to be the guy with either high velo or just filthy off speed. So you can get strikeouts. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say Hobie Milner is your strikeout king. He's going to be getting that ball over the plate, and the ball's going to be in play. Not really a dude that I want to bring in with runners on second and third. So, look, I mean, Hobie Milner with a deficit, I can see why they throw him into that spot, but yeah, not a guy I want to bring in a high pressure situation. You want to bring in dudes that can get strikeouts. I'm not sure Hobie Milner is your big time strikeout guy with runners on second and third there. But I love Hobie. He's kind of the sleeper, I think, out in the pen for me. Very, very high on him this year. And look, 0 ERA to start the season. Not bad. Not bad at all. We keep going. Appreciate all y'all. Thank you for the comments. Yeah, Octavio Dotel. Man, crazy. A nightclub roof collapsed. Dead at 51. Just a sad story, y'all. Definitely a sad story. Played for the Astros for a little bit, right? Yup. Zach, Josh Smith for leadoff 100%. Marcus should hit like 6-7 for a game or two. See how it goes. Riley, I'm with you. 6-7 would be fine. What's Josh Smith hitting right now? 6? Couldn't you literally just swap Josh Smith and Marcus Semien at this point? Hit Semien 6th, right behind Dolly. Shoot, move Jock Peterson down, hit Dolly 4th, and you can hit Marcus Semien 5th. I would actually probably put Josh Jung 5th and then Semien still 6th. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Look, maybe Josh Jung is hitting 7th because he's coming back from injury, but there's no reason Josh Jung shouldn't be hitting in the top 5 in the order. Zero reason why you shouldn't have the Jungle Cat top 5 right now. You've got to get these guys who are actually hitting well more ABs. And that, I think, to me is the most frustrating thing, right? You've got guys that are actually hitting well, and you're refusing to move them anywhere up higher in the order in the lineup. Josh Smith and Josh Jung should be hitting in the top 5. Top 6 at worst. And I know Josh Smith hit 6 tonight. You should not be hitting either one of those guys 7th or beyond. They are literally, maybe you could throw Wyatt Langford in there, right? Wyatt did have a nice home run tonight. Josh Jung and Josh Smith are probably 2 of your 3 best hitters right now. Get those guys up at the top of the order. Please. Please. Keep going. Bullpen should be fine. I totally agree. Smitty, Josh, Jung, Wyatt, 1, 2, 3. Look, I think Seager, just all the respect that he has in the organization and really among fans as well. I don't think you're going to see Siegs drop out of the top 3. I would not mind at all, though, Smith, Wyatt, Siegs hitting 3rd. And that 1, 2, 3. Smith, Langford, Siegs. And then after that, maybe you go Dolly, maybe you go Jungle Cat 4. And then you go Semien, Garcia 5, 6. Jock Peterson needs to be hitting lower at this point. Like, clearly the dude has not found a groove. And some of these guys are just killing us up at the top of the order in RBI situations. I think you got to move Jock down. He shouldn't be hitting 4th anymore. Should be probably no higher than 6th at this point. Jock's got to figure it out. Some of those ABs tonight just weren't even competitive. Hey, Brandon, what's good? Hey, Cubs got it tonight. Unfortunately. Can we give EC a chance at center field? Look, if Wyatt goes down, do you call up Evan Carter? That's an interesting question. If Wyatt goes down, do you call up Evan? I probably would think about it. I don't know what their other options are going to be, but if Wyatt needs to miss time, I think that's the obvious choice. You call up Evan Carter, and you probably let him do a split role with Leote. I'd rather see Evan hit every single day and just play center field. You could still have Josh play left field. So I would rather go Josh Smith in left and then have Evan play center field. But I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think Evan Carter has shown you enough in AAA. I mean, maybe out of necessity you bring him up, but let's check out Evan Carter's box score right now down in AAA. I know he had a nice game. He had like 3 walks on Sunday, was it? It was either Sunday or Monday. Dude had like 3 walks. Great game. Let me see. Did they not play today? Or am I just like being slow right now? Long day, y'all. Round Rock got their butt kicked today, 16-3. Oof. Let's see what EC did at the top. Looks like box score. Come on now. Evan Carter 0 for 3 with a walk today. Look, I'm glad he's taking walks. Like, I think he's gotten a walk in at least 3 straight games. Don't know what he did last night, but look, Evan, I don't think has really shown you enough to get a promotion. But at this point, if Wyatt does go down, goes on the 10-day, do you just call him up? I mean, I think that's kind of the obvious choice. You just sent Duran down. Duran probably could have subbed out in the outfield, although I think I saw enough last year of Zeke Duran trying to play left field wasn't my favorite thing, although he did have a couple of nice throws. Dude has a freaking cannon. I'll give him that, but did not love Zeke Duran out in the outfield. I'll say that. Was not my favorite choice. Zeke Duran out in the outfield, the route running, the feel for the ball. I just don't know about all that. Doesn't look like Round Rock played yesterday. So Evan Carter, nice game on Sunday. 0 for 3 with the walk today. Yeah, I just don't know if he's shown you enough that you want to call him up, but they might have to. They might have to. Let's see. Yeah, 28 Relics was good. Evan Carter, like I said, not probably enough results to call him up at this point. I think all of us, we just love Evan Carter. We just love to have the guy up playing like he did in 2023. Just such a likable dude. But yeah, probably not at a spot where he's done enough to warrant that. We'll see what happens. MLB Locks was good. Yeah, rough loss tonight. Cubs are a good team. I think that is the one thing you kind of say to yourself. Cubs are a good team. They're a good team, and this is a good test for Texas. Not playing as well offensively, although you saw a little firepower tonight. The pitching has been a little bit off, but let's be real. Patrick Corbin on the bump, not a real spring training from him. I didn't expect Patrick Corbin to come out and throw up a bunch of zeros. I don't know who in their right mind would have expected that. I thought he actually did pretty well to work through a little bit of a bumpy start. Dude threw 50 pitches in 2 innings, and I thought, hey, this is going to be like a 3-inning outing for Patrick. But was able to grind it out, got to the 4th inning, and then it kind of became a bullpen game from there. The control wasn't great. Did have the home run hit off him. Eventually, hopefully he can be a bit of an innings eater for us, but 4 innings, you're not eating very many. We need you eating a little bit more than 4 innings. But Patrick Corbin still getting into the swing of things without that spring training. I do agree. This plays a part. The comment, by the way, all y'all on TikTok, I know you can't see the YouTube comments. Comment is Cubs are solid, but this weather has been brutal for our indoor squad. I do have to think that plays a part. I mean, in Cincinnati, the team scored 5 runs in 3 games. We won that series, crazy enough, 1-0 the last 2 games, right? But the Cubs playing in Chicago, it's not like a complete surprise to me that the Rangers struggle a little bit offensively in the cold weather. Shoot, at some point, you got to break through it. You go to October and you play some of these teams up in the Northeast. If you get matched up with them, you're going to see cold weather. So at some point, we got to get over the cold. Have to. Keep going. First in the division. Yeah. Is that lead dwindling a little bit, though? Let me check out the standings right now. I know that LA has been playing pretty well. Angels were like a game and a half behind. They're actually, let's see, did they move into first place? Angels are 7-3, and they moved into first place. They've won 3 in a row. So Angels now have the AL West lead, and at a 700 winning percentage, the Los Angeles Angels are the best team in the American League. That just feels wrong to say, but the LA Angels, best team in the league if you're going by winning percentage. Yuck. I took the risk on picking Spurs tonight, bro. Good luck. And I can't do the late season NBA betting for the teams that are out of it. No. Can't do it. Let me keep going here. What do we got? Cubs fan here. Is that center fielder your normal one? He struggled out there. Thank you. You don't know how much that comment brings a smile to my face. The comment was from a Cubs fan. By the way, really appreciate you stopping in, bro. No, the comment's gold. Basically, the comment is, was that your normal center fielder out there? Like, what was dude doing? What was bro doing out there? Leote overrunning the ball in the bottom of the 8th. Terrible decision in the 5th inning on the Dansby Swanson sacrifice fly, throwing it to third base when Justin Turner was trying to take second. Oh, goodness. Ultramodern says Bruce Bochy said right oblique strain, but then he corrected himself and said tightness. So you kind of wonder if that was a little slip from Boch, and maybe it is a right oblique. I really hate to hear that. I mean, maybe it's a genuine slip up from Bochy, Ultramodern, but don't you think probably that is what it is? It's the oblique. And he's just kind of backtracking. Oh, man, actually, maybe just tightness. I don't know. Maybe it's just a genuine slip. What happened to Wyatt? Talked about that a second ago. How good does Walcott have to be to get a shot? I think that's the wrong question to be asking. The question was, how good does Walcott have to be to get a shot? I think the real question is, how bad do certain players on the current squad have to be for Walcott to get a shot? I mean, again, we're talking about Bruce Bochy here, a guy that doesn't change things up quickly. How bad do some of the players on this team need to get before you do decide to give a guy like Walcott a chance? And I don't think Walcott is necessarily ready. My point, and the substance of the point, is more, how many games are we going to watch some of these dudes struggle as bad as they are without even mixing it up a little bit? I mean, a day off here and there, fine. Like giving Jock Peterson a day, great. But do we have to trot him back out in the cleanup spot immediately after the day off? Or is it okay for Jock to hit 7th for a little while or 6th? That's my thing. Yeah, I think some people get it twisted. Like, you don't have to keep writing it out. Like, I mean, I know that the MLB season is 162 games, but I just don't see the merit in giving something 25 games that isn't working. It's okay to move Jock down. And then if he starts hitting, move him back up. Same thing with Marcus Semien. If you make a change, does it have to be forever? You move Marcus out of the leadoff spot. Does that mean he's never going to be able to hit there again? Or do you have the capability to move him back up there once he gets out of the slump and stops costing you at the top of the lineup? That's where I'm at. Don't need to see certain guys get benched, although I do think Jock at this point should not be a preferred option. I don't need to see Semien get benched. I like the glove out at second. He's a leader on the team. I don't want to see him get benched, but I do want to see a little bit of a shakeup in the lineup if we get through the end of this week and nothing has changed. I mean, one game is not enough for me. You need to see multiple games of Simi going 1 for 3 with the walk, maybe going multi-hit. It can't just be, oh, yeah, you went 1 for 4. Great, you're out of the slump. 1 for 4. Woohoo. I need to see more consistency. And I just think it's okay to move things around sometimes. And as great as Bruce Bochy is, it is the one thing that frustrates me about him is you don't see him making a lot of these types of changes with any pace or speed. It usually is a long, drawn-out process before we go to a different system. Maybe this will be the time where we're wrong. And maybe we see a move sooner rather than later. But if history repeats itself, it's going to take a second for Marcus Semien to not be in that leadoff spot anymore. Keep going. Cubs, most runs in the MLB. I believe it. Offense is legit, no doubt. Fly the W. No, thank you. I need to see 50 plus. Let me keep going here. I believe we are good with our lineup. Steven, appreciate the comment. Believe we're good with the lineup, but wouldn't mind bringing some of the young guys up. Shoot, doing the TikTok verification. Oh, good. I got it on the first try. Look, I definitely think that there's some merit to giving some of the young guys opportunities eventually. But the reality is it's going to come down to how bad are the guys at the big league level playing. If they're not playing that poorly, you're probably not going to see those guys come up. I don't want to see Walcott come up to ride the bench or be a depth guy. You know, I don't want to see him be Ezekiel Duran plus. I want to see Walcott starting every day. if he's actually going to get called up. Keep going here. Yep, a lot of y'all are interested in some of the AAA guys. Here's the thing. You got Evan Carter. You've got Dustin Harris, Blaine Krim. Like, there's some dudes down at the AAA level that are interesting. You got Foscue. I can't say any one of those guys strikes a lot of confidence in my heart that they're going to come up and be able to make some difference. I mean, I think the more interesting guys are down in AA with your Walcott, Osuna, Abimelech Ortiz, all those kind of guys I think are a little bit more interesting to me than the AAA guys. Of course, you'd like to see Evan Carter just figure it out down there. He'd be a great guy to call up. I just don't know how big of an impact, and I don't think Dustin Harris really got a fair shake at the end of last year. I wouldn't actually mind seeing a little bit more of Dustin Harris. But, yeah, I just don't know about some of the other guys and how big of an impact they're actually going to have at the big league level. John says Simi needs to be hitting 8th. Jock needs to be hitting 9th until he can figure it out. Yeah, I think Simi has got to be hitting 6th or 7th at this point. And Jock Peterson, same thing, 6th or 7th. I'd be hitting Jock probably 7th, Marcus 6th. I really don't know what it's going to take to stop hitting Jock 4th. Dude's hitting 094. Move him down for a few games. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, Leote, I agree. You don't even have to get me started. Look, for any good that Leote does, it's always balanced out with the negative. Today, 2 defensive plays that directly led to runs, the error in the bottom of the 8th, and the terrible decision to throw to third base with the bases loaded. Justin Turner easily takes 2nd. Leote had no shot at throwing out, I think, Kyle Tucker at third base. Kyle moves decently well. You weren't going to throw Kyle Tucker out at third base with the bases loaded on a sac fly. Throw it to 2nd. So Justin Turner doesn't take 2nd from first base. And then we have runners on 2nd and 3rd, and the double play is eliminated. It's stuff like that, man. It's little things in baseball that matter. And for Leote's deficiencies offensively, you've got to have 100 A+ defense. And you don't even get that. Well, this is a great question. Would you rather have Jose Altuve or Leote in the outfield? Probably Altuve, because if I'm getting bad defense, at least Altuve is going to give me some MLB at bats and be consistent. I mean, it's a great question. I don't know who's worse. Probably Altuve, just by nature of the fact that he hasn't played there very much. But I'd rather have Altuve in my lineup. I'll put up with the bad defense in left field from Altuve if you're going to give me consistently good at-bats. You're not getting that from Leote, and you're getting bad defense as well. You got to see Texas going into 34-degree weather and no days off. But here's the thing, which I'm going to keep saying. We can excuse the cold weather performances all we want. Is there not the potential that we're going to be heading up north? Boston, New York, maybe Baltimore. I know we went to Baltimore in 23. These are places where it gets cold in October. So I hear what people are saying with the cold weather. I don't love the excuse. You're going to have to go play in cold weather in the playoffs. You might get lucky and not have to. But with some of the teams that are very quality at this point in the season, count on it. New York, Boston, Baltimore, Detroit's looking good. They've won 5 in a row. Kansas City gets chilly in October. All these places, you've got to figure out how to play in cold weather. So, great. Let's excuse it. But they've had 2 series now in cold weather. Like I posed the question earlier, how many games do you need to see the Rangers offense not perform well in for you to come to the conclusion that it's not going great? How many series do we have to play in cold weather before we start worrying or before we start not using it as an excuse? Keep going. Yeah, Kyle Tucker's legit. I'll give you that. Seager and Simeon definitely need to start hitting. Glad to see Siegs go multi-hit. Yeah, I do agree. Whitney makes a good point. Like, this is my argument. Both teams have to play in the elements. Where was Chicago all spring training? Oh, yeah, the same place as the Rangers, Arizona. So, again, I don't really love the cold weather excuse. It's convenient, it's low hanging fruit. The Cubs spent all spring in Arizona. It's not like they've played 30 games in the cold weather, and here they are scoring the most runs in Major League Baseball. So, look, this is probably the last series that I want to hear cold weather excuses. You're going to have to go play in cold weather in October if that is the goal this year. Don't let it be an excuse when you got to go somewhere else that's chilly before we hit summertime. No. All right, keep going. Thoughts on Leote? Already going off on him multiple times, but please put Wyatt Langford in center field, move Josh Smith to left, and stop overthinking it. Like, Josh Smith, better than Leote. Wyatt Langford, better than Leote. The only thing right now I think you have to think about is the DH spot with Jock Peterson. I think at this point, you've almost got to consider both catchers hitting. That's what I'd be doing at this point. Bench Peterson and just have Hyman Higgy hit. I know it's a little dangerous having both catchers in the lineup. You got to sacrifice the DH at some point, and if somebody goes down, it starts getting a little bit murky. But I don't know at what point you decide to go with that a little bit more consistently. They did it a couple games ago with both Heim and Higgy in the lineup. At this point, I want to see both those dudes hitting. Like, rotate DH for Heim and Higgy. Get both those guys hitting. I mean, look, I know that the average isn't awesome for Higgy. Heim's hitting 280, but I would love to see both those guys in the lineup at this point. I mean, look, I'm not as big a fan of Pilar. I'd rather see Higgy and Heim DH catch. Pilar was not good against righties. He was pretty good against lefties last year, had an average over 300. But again, give me Heim and Higgy, both those guys in the lineup, one of them DH and one of them catching. I hope Jock's going to figure it out. I don't think that you bench Jock forever. Hard Chuck, what's good, by the way? Thanks for all the comments. I don't think you bench Jock forever. But dude's hitting 094. Give him a day. Give him a couple days. Let him have some time off. Clear the mind, right? Clear the mechanism. And have somebody else man down DH for a couple of games. Doesn't mean you can't have Jock pinch hit here and there, but I think you have got to mix it up a little bit. Trotting Jock out to clean up game after game. Don't love it. Just don't love it. All right, y'all. We're going to start winding things down. Do agree Rangers defense does look awful. They look awful. Josh Jung, uncharacteristic error. Corey Seager, even Seager not being gold glove caliber defense, but Seager's Ole today was ugly. And you got to knock down that ball if you're Corey Seager. Josh Jung, you got to get in front of that ball as well and knock it down. Uncharacteristic, I think, from those two guys. Leote's plays don't shock me at all. They do not shock me at all. Let me go to the box score here. I don't think there's anything else super notable that I want to lock in on. We talked about Seager, Langford going multi-hit. We'll see what Wyatt Langford's prognosis is. Garcia goes 1 for 4. Did have a hard hit to second that got caught. So good to see him hitting the ball hard today. 1 for 4 for Doley. Smith and Jung, we talked about them. They need to be hitting higher than 6-7. Get Josh Smith and Josh Jung hitting in the top 5 every single game. There's no reason to have them hitting this low. Heim goes 1 for 4, 2 RBI from Jonah. Did strike out 3 times, but you know what? I'll take 1 for 4 from the catcher spot every time. 2 RBI as well. Leote Taveras goes 2 for 4 tonight. And so maybe there's some people that are going to be looking at the box score. Why in the world are you going off on Leote? Dude was 2 for 4. Dude also directly was responsible for 2 runs out on defense. And so whatever Leote did at the plate to me is negated by defensive play that is subpar, and that's putting it nicely. Bullpen, I really don't mind, honestly. I think there's a couple of guys that are probably not going to hang around all year long, but I actually really like Garcia, Martin, Jackson. I like that three right there. And I think Hobie Milner is a good option as well. I don't think Mark Church is ready for the spotlight, but I do like Mark Church's stuff. The slider fastball combo he had tonight looked promising. Got to have the control issues. And you got to make sure you're throwing more strikes. Mark Church walking two guys, not a recipe for success. Got to get the control issues settled, but I like Mark Church. There are some other guys, though, that I can do without. I'm not a big-time Jacob Webb fan. I think he's been okay this year, but Armstrong is another guy I don't feel super comfortable with. But I think the Rangers have some good pieces. You throw Josh Boers in there, it starts looking better and better. You've got 4 or 5 dudes, I think, that can be really solid holding the lead. I don't know if Teodo's coming up soon. Teodo has mostly been a starter in the minor leagues. I don't know if the Rangers have come out and said what the long-term plan is, but I really think that Teodo is probably more of a starter at this point. I don't think he's going to come in and be bullpen savior. Yeah, great quote here. 28 Relics YouTube comment here. Jacob Webb scares me every time. It all looks like meatballs. Some of these guys, like that's how I feel with Armstrong and Webb right now. You just no calm. It's just anxiety. When I see them coming into the game, I instantly start worrying. Now, I can't say that with a lot of other dudes. When C. Mart comes in the game, I had no worry. And if it weren't for a terrible opening play by Leote and a double play ball that Josh Jung gets eaten up by, C. Mart doesn't allow any runs in that inning. And we go to the top of the 9th with a chance to win that ball game. I really love Chris Martin out there. Luke Jackson is growing on me. But Webb, Armstrong, yeah, get the Pepto out when those guys come in the ball game. And a lot of it. All right, y'all. Hey, let's preview the game tomorrow. We already talked about the starters a little bit. We're going to have Malley on the bump, and we're going to have Shota on the mound for the Cubs. 0.98 ERA. Oof, doesn't get any easier tomorrow, y'all. And Tyler Malley, I did love his bounce back start, but hard to know exactly what you're going to get from him. I don't know if they're going to be lengthening him out. Look, the Rangers against Imanaga. Shota Imanaga, lefty starter. Berger has 2 at-bats. He's 0 for 2. Higgy has 2 at-bats. He's 0 for 2. Nobody else has seen Shota. I will say this. Josh Jung absolutely punishes lefties. So if I had a player to watch for tomorrow, if the Rangers even play, I'm going Josh Jung. Josh Jung has, in his career, like a 3.25 average against lefties. So if anybody can do it, I think Josh Jung has a big hit tomorrow. Hopefully he has another nice day at the plate. Always a crapshoot when you've never seen a pitcher before. But like I said with Jacob deGrom, it actually didn't work out. None of the Rays had really seen deGrom. And I thought to myself, advantage deGrom. If you've never seen Jacob deGrom pitch, never faced him before, I've got to think that's advantage deGrom. So my nature tells me Imanaga, not having faced a lot of these Texas hitters, probably advantage Shota. But maybe it'll go like it did for deGrom, and the Rangers will put together some really nice at-bats against him. Baseball's a weird sport sometimes. But look, Imanaga, great start to the year, 2-0, 0.98 ERA. It's not going to be a walk in the park tomorrow, Rangers fans. 2-0, 10 Ks, 0.98 ERA. Malley, 1-0, 1.35 ERA. Had a pretty good start last time out. And as we go through the numbers against the Cubs, Birdie 0 for 2 lifetime. Hap looks like 2 for 23 with a home run. 0.87 batting average. Let's see. Horner, second baseman, 4 for 8. Pretty good. Carson Kelly, 1 for 5. Former Texas Ranger Carson Kelly. Suzuki, 0 for 2. Swanson, it looks like 3 for 11. Tucker, 0 for 2. Justin Turner, 3 for 5. So there are some guys with good numbers. You got JT, Dansby Swanson, numbers aren't bad there. Horner, second baseman. And look, beyond that, small sample size. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Inclement weather, supposed to be rainy and windy tomorrow. Kind of makes sense for Chicago. So a lot of speculation the game may be canceled. I hope that's not the case because I hate when baseball games get canceled. I've told y'all over and over, one of the worst notifications I get. The Texas Rangers versus Chicago Cubs game has been postponed. Be made up at a later date. One of the worst notifications I ever get on my phone. Hate it when games get postponed. But the weather, Wrigley Field, I don't know if it's all going to cooperate. So if the Rangers are not able to play, we'll see when they decide to fit it in. They do have an off day on Thursday, and the Cubs do as well. But the caveat is on Friday, you're going to Seattle. And so if you play on Thursday, you could do a day game. The Cubs, I think after that, are the Cubs back? No, the Cubs are out in LA. So both teams have got to go to the West Coast, but you would think if they have to cancel tomorrow, theoretically, you could do a Thursday morning game. You know, you could do a 12 o'clock Central Time start. You could even do maybe an 11 o'clock Central Time start. And you could get those teams both on their planes by, 3:30, 4 o'clock? Maybe that's a little ambitious, but you're at least getting out to the West Coast by 9 or 10 p.m. with an opportunity to rest, get some good sleep, and then you play night games on Friday night. So I think that's probably got to be the plan. Otherwise, it's going to get weird later in the year trying to reschedule that one. But in Seattle, doesn't look like any Ranger starter has been announced. It would be Kumar Rocker. Is that right? Kumar Rocker, technically. But they're going to be throwing Bryce Miller. Seattle will be on Friday night. Do we see Gilbert? Let me see here, y'all. Yes, we do. Gilbert is throwing on Sunday. Man, that dude's good. And he always pitches well against us. All right, y'all. Let me check comments one more time. Hey, Eric, what's good? Eric, you better get on this weekend, man, when the Rangers and Mariners play. We need the opposing viewpoint, brother. So make sure you're on this weekend at some point. I'll definitely be live on Sunday, and I'll probably go live Friday or Saturday. Maybe not all 3 games unless it's just like an absolutely classic series. So, Eric, hope you hang out this weekend with us. Eric, longtime supporter of the show, Mariners fan, but we love everybody here at Right On Rangers. We love everybody. It's baseball, man. That's what I always say. If you want to hang out, even if you don't love the Rangers, come talk ball with us. Everybody's welcome. Yeah, DeGrom, maybe DeGrom going. I'm sure he'll be at least one of those games, either Friday or Saturday. I think we would see DeGrom. It could be a really fun set of matchups, I think. You got to think Evo's probably going maybe Evo on Sunday. Maybe Monday. I don't know. Evo probably is either Sunday or Monday, I would think. Keep going. Let me make sure I got everybody. Cubs got lucky today. Yeah, hey, appreciate that. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Look, like I said, we got some Cubs fans in the chat. Everybody's welcome. Come hang out. I love talking ball with everybody. But, yeah, look, I do think the Cubs got fortunate today with some of the Rangers' errors. But, honestly, who knows what happens if we go to the 9th tide? It's not a foregone conclusion the Rangers win the ball game. Maybe. But I do think the Cubs got fortunate today with some of the Rangers' errors. No disrespect to them. I think the Cubs are a great squad. Love the lineup. Love the lineup from Chicago. Love the pitching. I just think, yeah, the Rangers gave this one away late. And I'm glad there are some people that can be honest about that. But let's not take anything away from the Cubs. They are absolutely a high-quality team, 100%. All right, so scores around the league. Astros, Mariners, knotted at 0. I do always love when the Astros and Mariners play each other. because that means one of them is not going to gain any ground on the Rangers. So, look, can both those teams lose? Unfortunately, no, but at least one of them has to. All right, let me see what else we got. The Angels beat the Rays today 4-3. Angels' best record in the AL. Crazy but true. Crazy but true. Athletics are beating the Padres. Look, A's are going to be 5-7 after this. And they are going to be third right behind the Rangers in the division if they can knock off the 9-2 Padres. Look at the A's. I think it's going to be interesting teams going to play at that minor league ballpark. I don't think it's super easy to go from really, really nice stadium basically back to spring training. So I'm really interested to see if the A's have any kind of advantage there, or if it's really going to be a big nothing burger. I just wonder, are some guys going to psych themselves out a little bit? You go into the minor league field, you don't quite have the same treatment you get in all the other ballparks, don't have the same facilities. Just something I'm interested in. Not saying it's going to be a big thing. All right, y'all. So we're going to head out for tonight. Look for a short or a reel from me coming out either tonight or tomorrow. We'll pick something out of the live tonight, but I definitely think you flush this one. The errors, it was ugly at times. The Rangers can play better. Tomorrow's a new day. Maybe we get postponed and play Thursday. We'll see. But I do appreciate all y'all hanging out. Thank you so much for all the comments today. Thank you for all the questions as well. Y'all throw my way. It keeps the show fresh. And there's some people that followed while we were live today. Appreciate all y'all. And if you know somebody that's a diehard that loves the Rangers or that just loves baseball, please share a video with them. You can go on YouTube. I got videos posted on Facebook, X, Instagram, like everywhere. Share one of my videos with them. I'd really appreciate it. Let's keep growing this good group of people we got talking ball, talking Rangers baseball. I would be very grateful. Have a great Wednesday. We'll definitely go live, whether we play Wednesday or Thursday. One of those 2 days, we will go live. We always do a series wrap up, so we'll always be live the last game of a series, and then we'll pick and choose which one we go live for in between. But definitely, whether we play Wednesday or Thursday, we'll make sure we go live, wrap up the series with the Cubs before we look forward to the Mariners series. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night. We'll see you tomorrow or Thursday. And as I always say to end every show, God bless